Welcome to Nexus Sports Podcasts. We are now being entertained today by Coach Sean Main, who's the head coach for the Cavaliers down at Champlain St. Lambert CEGEP, or rather St. Lambert College, and his student athlete, man of the hour, who was just recently elected to the All-Star team, I believe. Noah Roy, thank you very much for joining, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Coach Main, I'm told you're going to be the adult in this conversation today. So let's get started with you. Coach, you had I think you had a pretty decent season. I hope you were happy with the results. Obviously did not materialize come playoff time with a win, but overall, you want to give us your impressions on this 2022 season?
It's a bitter and sweet season, I guess I would say. I mean, if you check my record for the past 4 years, it's been 5-3. So obviously, 5-3 is good. I mean, obviously, I'm constantly looking to take it to the next level, which is, unfortunately, we're unable to do that. But overall, I was happy with our performance.
Okay. Good. Why don't you talk to us about, the people are going to take a look at this podcast if they haven't seen the two previous ones we've done. And I think they can get a good gist on who you are as an individual. And you're pretty much out there and very entertaining. I have no qualms in going out and saying that. So why don't you tell us about maybe the values of the program, what it is you're trying to build or have been building and continue building, rather, I should say, out in St. Lambert?
Well, the big thing for me is once I took over the program, I pretty much want to build a foundation based off of everywhere I've been, from playing in the States to the pros. We always had a close team. We're pretty much one big family. We did a lot of things together. So those are like my heavy values that I carry over with me. So I'm always setting stuff up like team events. We did bowling. He's not good at it. Team meals and, constantly just do things like that to bring everybody together. I mean, your biggest memories and moments are going to really be in CEGEP. I mean, university, and if you make it to the pros, you'll have your memories there. But I mean, the ones you make in CEGEP are really, really what it's about. Also, on top of that, football's not forever. So I want to also emphasize the academic side of things.
Mm.
You never know once you get further in life, like, from playing ball, if you meet somebody you played with, maybe they're CEO somewhere and they bring you in because, you guys have that connection, things like that. So, those are really, really heavy two core values.
Nice. So Noah, you and I go way back. Let's not hide that, right? So it's good to see you again. Thanks for jumping on. You got to Champlain. What were your impressions when you got there on day one versus today? Is there any change there?
Well, day one I walked in, it was training camp. I think it was in the spring, and there were some big guys. It was intimidating. It was definitely intimidating. I was very young, so it was scary. But once I met the guys and once I started going out with them, like Sean said, and we went out for lunch. I think the second day of training camp, we went out for lunch with the O-line. So it was very easy for me to blend in, and it was very easy for me to learn from the older guys too. So for me, it was scary at first, but it was a great change that I was very excited to start.
And he's not a good bowler.
I'm not a good bowler as well. I found that out.
Noah, from an academics perspective and social integration, how would you quantify or qualify rather the what you went through from as a transition between high school to CEGEP? Was it significantly different for you?
It was. I learned pretty quickly that teachers aren't on top of you to get your work in. They're not going to chase you around. So it was a rough wake-up call for me. I had didn't hand in assignments, and I wasn't on top of my work the way I should have been and the way I am now. Because I was, like I said, I was still pretty young. I went to CEGEP at 16, so I wasn't fully mature. And academically, it was hard for me. But pretty quickly, you learn that you have to be your own you're your own adult. You have to be able to manage your time, and and with football, it was an extra heavy schedule. So, but the wake up call was difficult for me. And socially, it was quite the opposite. I had a pretty easy transition into CJUP. I had a lot of friends here, so for me, it wasn't too difficult to transit. And then I knew a lot of guys on the team already, so I already had friends when I got here.
Well, that helps ease the process, I suppose.
Oh yeah, definitely. I spent a lot of time in the locker room.
Coach, the pandemic has done quite a number on some of these kids. Did you guys do anything different coming out of the pandemic months with regards to ensuring that the kids would remain engaged from an academics perspective?
Well, for sure, because once the pandemic was done, the hardest transition was getting kids back into school and kind of out of this whole Zoom era, right? I mean, they got used to just waking up out of bed, open up their laptop, slapping on the shirt, and then boom, I'm in class, right? Whereas now they actually have to get up, get out, kind of actually socialize with people within their class and things like that. It was a hard transition, but to tell you the truth, not really. Because once you play a sport, you're already active and used to engaging with your fellow teammates and things like that. So amongst the team, no, but the transition from getting them back into class and schoolwork and things like that, I'll have to say yes. Like I constantly had to be on top of them, like, hey, are you doing your homework? Are you going to the resources that's here, like the learning center, to kind of help you with anything you need and things like that. So it was from a social perspective, no, not really, because they're all were happy to see each other. But from an academic side of things, it was just because you get used to being lazy and teachers, like, let's be real, everything was online. So everything was just a little bit easier. Whereas now it's in person, like it was tough to kind of get them back in the swing of things.
Coach, let's continue in that line of academics, and maybe you want to run us through the gauntlet of what it is you guys, what makes Champlain in St. Lambert stand out from either services or logistics, academics. What really allows you guys to, or what's your highlight for, highlight pitch for bringing kids, student athletes over to Champlain?
Well, the big thing, since we're such a small school, I mean, our population is about 2,600 or something like that. From the outside looking in, when you talk about Champlain, people are just like, whatever. But when kids come in and actually do a visit, they get the sense that it's a small school. Your classes are small, 20 to 25 students per class.
Yeah.
It's more like in high school where you kind of get to know your teachers will get to know you. The school's clean. So it's more like when parents come, the first thing they said is clean, and they get that family vibe to the school.
Okay.
So that's what really helps us a lot. On the outside looking in, like you would think you would hear it, but you wouldn't know it. But once you're actually in the building and you do the tour and you just walk around and you see everything, you kind of get that family sense. And the fact it's a small school, teachers get to know you, like I said before, but it comes back to like the learning center. Tutors are free. The writing center is there for all the student athletes. There's just the academic coaches who are pretty much like academic advisors, just so much support from within the school, because we're a small school, it's more personal. That, I mean, like I tell all the kids on the visits, if you fail, it's like you're trying to fail. There's just too much support for you to succeed. And also too, with, like I said, with the majority of our players being French, that transition from French to English, because we're a small school, they get a lot more attention to help them with, just little things like the writing, or just kind of communicating what they're trying to say and things like that.
What would you estimate your percentage of your student athletes on your team that would be Francophone or coming from a Francophone high school?
Probably like 65, 70.
Yeah. I'd say about 70% of our team's Francophone.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Okay. Oh yeah, like I said, we have a lot of guys who couldn't speak a lick of English or a word of English before they got here, but just from playing football, it's like the easiest way to kind of break that trend and get you to start speaking more English. And, guys are not judged like vice versa. Like my French was horrible when I came in the beginning. So when I tried to speak to them in French, they were laughing at me saying, yo, coach, just speak in English and things like that. But, we just grow together. The more you do it, the easier it gets and things like that. Like I said, with the support that's here, like a lot of the teachers, they understand French and everything like that. So you could ask them a question in French and they'll respond in English. So it just eases the tension of everything.
Nice.
Oui.
We, we. Noah,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to be the highlight? What are you going to take out of your experience over at Champlain when it's all said and done?
I think the relationships that I built here with, not just Coach Sean, but with the rest of the staff and especially the guys. Like I said before, by the second day of training camp, I think we went for Korean barbecue downtown, and I think that one day is something that I'll never forget because it was so soon into my CJEP career, and it was the foundation for the friends I made here. I have guys that I talk to every day, even when we're not in school. And I do think I'll be friends with them for a good amount of time after this is over, regardless of what Coach Sean says. But especially the coaching staff too. The coaching staff is great. They're super supportive, and most of the coaching staff is quite young. I think Coach Sean's probably the oldest.
Actually, I am.
Yeah. So it's a real close vibe. There some of them graduated from Champlain 2, 3, 4 years ago. So they know the vibe of the school, and they're able to connect with the players really well. So,
And you have a history of having good relationship with your former coaches, right?
I do. I've had great relationships with the coaches.
Good, excellent, good for you.
I got to talk to his midget coach to see, though. I think his midget coach is a little upset with him. I got to talk to him and see. I'll let you know the answer to that one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll do a follow-up podcast to talk about that one.
That would be great.
Coach, recruiting period has begun. What are you looking for in order to get you past that 5-3 mark for next year?
You know what? I kind of had to change up my game plan on how I'm doing things.
Oh,
And yeah, really. And because I've played under Tressman and Mark Tressman when I was with the Alouettes and seen what he did with how he's done it, I pretty much right now I'm just looking for character. Because obviously, if you have good character on your team, you could accomplish anything. I mean, obviously it's great sometimes to get the best athletes and whatever, but if their character's not good, like I said, I'm very big on family, so it's all about gelling together. So the first thing I'm looking for in a player is character. Guys who are hungry, guys who are wanted. A lot of our guys who moved on to university, yes, we're D3, I'll say. When they get to university, what helps them exceed and excel is also because of the fact that they play with that chip on their shoulder, like they have something to prove. So for me, I'm really looking for guys with character, grit, kind of a little bit feel like, they have something to prove. So when they come here, it's not like I don't have to rebuild them or get them to buy in the system. They want it, and then we just move forward from there.
I like it.
Hey, the old way I can't necessarily sit here and say the old way hasn't worked because we've been 5-3, which is good. But I mean, I just had to take a step back and just reflect on everything and be like, okay,
it's definitely
what is kind of missing or what do I need to change? And
so we're not changing the goal, we're just changing the plan.
100%.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time today. It was fun and very informative as well. I wish you the best of luck for this recruiting season. Noah, I know you're partaking in those efforts as well. So good luck to both of you there. Have a great off season, and looking forward to seeing you guys on the field next year.
Hey, question for you.
Okay.
Best cheesecake, what restaurant? Go.
Rocketberry.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I like that. We good.
Did I win?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Chuck.
Bye.